And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure at this moment to invite you to our second plenary session, and this time focused on sustainable roads, logistics, and their development, and of course, their maintenance as well. I do not have to say and reinforce the fact that we already know that roads are a dominant mode of transport, both for our passengers, but also for freight. I need not say that inadequate investment in roads means that we have constrained mobility. I might have to highlight that a recent AfDB asset management study showed that we are sitting at a gap of about $140 billion in terms of the funding or the investment required to adequately develop and maintain our roads. And last but not least, in case we lose sight of the human value in this conversation, that at this rate and on this day, Africa still has the highest road fatalities in the world. And so this is a critically important conversation. The way we're going to have this conversation is that we've got a scene setter. I'm going to invite our scene setter to join me on stage. He's going to present for 5 minutes and set the scene and ask all the big, difficult questions that my panelists will have the job of responding to, making my job incredibly easy. But my panelists will have the benefit of listening to the scene setter from stage, and they'll be able to make use of the comfort monitors to follow. So allow me to welcome my panelists on stage first, and then I will invite our scene setter to come and do the honors. Allow me to invite Her Excellency, Madame Sarah Zafrani Zenzri, the Minister of Equipment and Housing from Tunisia. Let's give her a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, thank you so very much for being here. Allow me to also welcome His Excellency, Mr. Emmanuel Ngannou Jumesi, Minister of Public Works from Cameroon. Thank you very much, sir. It's just the next one, madam. Thank you very much. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to excuse Minister Buya, because we've already heard from him. So those of you who were expecting to hear from him, he did indicate to us to say, I've said everything that I needed to say. So I'm going to give the opportunity for others to use the space. So His Excellency Buya from Congo has been intentionally omitted from this panel. However, we also have with us the President of the African Road Maintenance Funds Association, Mr. Esai Musa. Let's give Mr. Musa a big round of applause, please. I had the privilege of sitting in front of Mr. Musa this morning, so I heard all the things that he was in agreement with and all the things he disapproved of in the previous panel. So I will certainly be asking him for some of that detail. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap the panel up by inviting Mr. Henry Gakuru, who is the Director for Development at the Kenya National Highways Authority. Mr. Gakuru, please, let's give him a round of applause as he comes up. And replacing in this panel His Excellency, the Minister of Equipment and Road Maintenance here in Côte d'Ivoire, we have the Director of Cabinet, Mr. Aristide Yao, who is going to represent the Minister in this panel discussion. Let's give Mr. Yao a big round of applause, please. And so to kick us off, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to invite our provocateur, to invite the person who's going to stir the pot and ask the difficult questions. Dr. Fred Amonya is an honorary senior fellow looking after complex systems and public investment in the Department of Civil Engineering at the University of Birmingham in the United Kingdom. Let's give him a big round of applause.
We binged silence. We binged on oil. More silence. We binged on oil. Christine, could you please have the next slide?
Technical team, if you could have the presentation please loaded for Dr. Monya. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christine. So we binged on oil. Good morning, good afternoon. Christine, do the next, please. That's our world. I don't see smiles. That is our world. In 150 years, we created that cliff, that escapement, in 150 years of the 1,000. We binged on oil. Translators, the translators might need my help. This is what binging means. It means going to a bar and you drink yourself silly. And, thank you. And you've got to clean up. You've got to clean up the next day. So we binged for 150 years, and now the cleanup. But before we go to the cleanup, why did we binge? What happened? Friends, what happened? Look at that. Look at that escapement. Look at that. Look at how high it is. What happened? We binged because of mathematics. Stand. We binged because of mathematics. We binged because we accepted that square root of -1 was part and parcel of us. That's why we binged. Then we had the induction motor come up, and we went to this beautiful product, this convenient product called oil, and we did our binging. Now look, each one of us here is trying to do the cleanup. The Global North is responsible for most of it, but there's a new world unfolding. Now what are you going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to say that is their world? No, we've got to be part of that new world unfolding. How? Hey, do you have your seat belts tied? Let's look at the how. If I can get there. Wow, 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 wow. Don't run away, don't run away. No, when you throw equations there, publishers tell me, no, 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 no. People are going to get scared. For your sins and for my sins, we have to accept that. Now, the entire binging was based on that F equals to ma. It is very simple. You can inscribe it on any surface. And I ask you to make a pledge that when you go back, just write it on your wall. VP Solomon, maybe take the lead. Because that is everything. It's everything that VP Solomon, your economists are doing. It's everything we've talked about. I had Director Robert ask when and how of this and that, trying to predict. That is all F equals to ma. So my friends, we had this lens of science called F equals ma, and it's what we've been using. But it's wrong. That's why you should write it and cross it, or place their question mark. It is wrong that F equals ma. The rest of that slide is the history of humanity, human attempt at understanding. All of it. I'm sure you can identify the Platonic solids. Then it comes down to those funny letters, SU3, SU2, SU1. That's where the bars of understanding is packed. We've packed it there. Standard model of particle physics. But the point is this, with F equals to ma. Our world is way more interconnected. Our world is way more adaptive than we assume. We cannot keep playing voodoo with understanding. And is that serious? I know some of you might be saying, how can this man stand here and say, crossing that F equals M is everything? What did he put in his tea this morning? No, friends, that is it. And I know it may sound very complicated, but I urge you, when you go back, just write that F equals MA, cross it, or put a question mark, and spend the next 1 year inviting your university, your academics, inviting your think tanks, inviting your consultants, ask them, what is wrong with this thing? It doesn't matter whether they're economists, whether they look at infrastructure, whether they're sociologists. That is one frame we've used. Unfortunately, my sister Shabalala, unfortunately, the world is way more interconnected, way more adaptive, and we must move away from F equals to MA. F equals to MA was brought to us in infrastructure by the good Robert McNamara, 1968. And we casually do it, knowingly or unknowingly. For all the prediction we make is F equals MA. It is wrong. And that is the challenge to my panel here. How do we address that world that's more interconnected, that's more adaptive than we assume? What apparatus, what mechanisms are we going to put in place to take on the challenge? Take on this challenge, we must. And I'll conclude with one thing. As part of F equals to MA, there's a chorus we sing all the time. Infrastructure gap, there's a yawning gap. Throw in the red meat of infrastructure, and this animal called Africa will fatten, blossom. Friends, it's not that simple. That is one reason why my neighbor, Kenya, is having problems. Ethiopia, Ghana, Zimbabwe, and more, Zambia. It is not that simple. Let's not assume that all we have to do is have money pumped into Africa, we construct infrastructure. We end up with this trouble. These troubles are here with us. That's real. So let's look at infrastructure as a project of surgery. Let's be more surgical. Let's be more surgical in investing in infrastructure. We need the infrastructure. I'm not saying we don't, but we must be way, way more surgical. My sister, Ms. Shabalala, gave me 10 minutes. I told her, you know what? I'm going to give back 5. Maybe the other 5 later. I would love to hear questions from you. I thank you for your attention. Go back and cross F equals MA. Go back and do it. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Dr. Harmonia. Ladies and gentlemen, our provocateur for the conversation. So, for those who might have forgotten the physics lesson, F equals to MA, of course, is force is equal to the mass of an object times acceleration. So you've taken us back to the classroom. You've taken us back to physics, and you have confronted us with some of the things we hold as universal truths. And one of those things is that you've said, pumping money into the infrastructure gap is not the only solution. The world is more complex than that. The world is more intertwined. The world is more adaptive. And so the question you're leaving us with is, what does it mean to be surgical? And I want to pull this question into the context of the roads conversation, which we are now to have here on stage. Your Excellency, take us into Tunisia. There are already exciting projects, highway expansion projects that you are already invested in and looking at. But maybe comment on 2 things for us. How are they addressing some of your economic growth ambitions? And the second one, to the point that Dr. Monya makes, what is the benefit of the connection that these highway expansion projects are giving you as you connect more intentionally to your neighbors, especially, for example, like Algiers? How is that assisting you so we can see the complexity that Dr. Amonia speaks about? Please go ahead.
Thank you. Donc, je préfère parler en langue française.
I'd rather speak French. Concerning Tunisia, we have a road network of 20,000 kilometers, spanning 7,000 kilometers, and this 20,000 network is built up. We have also 50,008 kilometers of beaten road with macadamized one. For highways, we have 743 kilometers, and our target is to reach a length of 1,070 kilometers by 2035. Concerning connectivity with Algeria and Libya, we have already completed connection towards Libya. The A1 highway going from Tunisia towards the Libyan border is completed. We have to complete also the trunk, the border road going to the Tunis and the Algerian border. We have the Trans-Maghreb section, and Tunisia was highly involved in building that trunk. The only missing link is the link from Busin to the Algerian border, which is 75 kilometers long. We would like also to find the necessary findings to complete that trunk, because it's the only section which is missing in the Trans-Maghreb road. If you find the findings that the cost is high and the current capacity, financial capacity of the country doesn't allow us to complete these 80 kilometers, we would like to do so step by step, going from the Jendouba section to the Algerian border. As you can see, we are open to connections in terms of highways. I'll talk about major traffic roads. We're trying to develop connections with Algeria and Libya and the borders. Tunisia also was actively involved in the building of a Trans-Sahara road linking the port from Algeria, Mediterranean to the Lagos port. And Tunisia has completed the section that is its own, spanning 700 kilometers. And it's also doubled the roads and the lanes, and was involved in improving this network. Now we're seeking to achieve the eastern to western sections, which have economic zones, linking up the interland areas to the industrial zone on the shoreline, which are cross-cutting sections. Very soon, by the end of 2024, we will initiate a bidding process to develop the National Road 13, linking up Slan to Gaslin, going through Djiboussit and Kermon. We also provide connection between the Algerian border to the A1 highway, and then move towards the Libyan border. AfDB provided support to Tunisia to develop its program. It was involved in 6 AfD program and 6 upgrading programs. AfDB invested in 10,000 kilometers road in Tunisia, building highways, reinforcing gazetted roads, developing pathways, and the coating of roads. It has invested about 1,400 million euros. It also invested in studies on strategic corridors, the RN15, the RN16, which are cross-cutting ways linking up the eastern part of the region part and spanning 400 kilometers. We are now developing the studies. We'd like this project to materialize and secure funding for the works to build up the strategic links linking up the eastern part of the country to western part of the country. In the strategic guidance for 2035, we will have to open up the inland country areas, linking them to industrial hubs and also to neighboring countries. Each region of a country would link up to a highway or thoroughway within a radius of 60 kilometers. Each citizen should be able to access a highway within less than 60 kilometers of a radius. These are the key strategic orientations developed by our countries. We intend to develop and build 1,700 kilometers, and for beaten track roads, we have currently 1,300 macadamized roads. Our strategy also is to build 20,000 kilometers and rehabilitate them. We expanded them to 6.5 meters in wide, and we intend to develop 33,000 kilometers of road. We should let you know that AfDB was involved in the funding of several major works to the tune of 155, and you have would like to acknowledge AfDB for its support to Tunisia, and AfDB is a great partner to Tunisia and would like to coordinate even further so that we may have future projects in the future. Thank you.
Listen to the long list of work that is going on. I'm hearing the investment in building, in maintaining, in rehabilitating, connecting to industrial zones, connecting to neighboring countries, mindful of the trade opportunities. I want to come back to the provocation. So very briefly, Minister, Dr. Monya says it's not just about the money. So in addition to the investments from the African Development Bank and other partners, if you could highlight two things that have allowed you to really see and make momentum and progress in all these projects, in addition to financing, what has proven to be critically important for successful road infrastructure projects? Two things.
À part le financement, bien sûr, il faut une bonne gouvernance.
Besides financing, we need appropriate governance. We have to develop a long-term strategy, and we have to work towards inter-regional connections. In terms of roads, we are also establishing innovating solutions, and we are using the most up-to-date technologies, and the AfDB has been providing a grant, and we're going to develop a new catalogs for the scoping of roads with innovating solutions. It's not requesting a lot of funding. We just need a vision, a long-term vision, and innovating solutions in road systems. We need to have performing solutions using green materials adapted to our local materials and the weather conditions in the country. We also endowing our countries with dynamic weighing systems to control overloading on our roads, and we are having automatic accounting and using various advanced technologies to the numbering in traffic and also for dynamic weighing systems. The catalog for roads, and this is being developed. We're experiencing currently a road with residues from construction and demolition residues. We're having this experience. We'd like to expand for the treatment of soils. We take into account environmental conditions to protect the environment, and we may have to recycle materials resulting from destructions in building.
Me too. And as you could hear, the equation is changing quite a lot because Minister has given us quite a lot. And it's striking for me that you say that in addition to financing, we need a vision. We need governance. We need innovative technologies. we need to be thinking green. And we need to be doing all of those things so that we can reimagine the equation. Let me go to His Excellency Minister Jumesi from Cameroon with the next question. Minister, in about 2 minutes, can you share with us what are the major projects that Cameroon is working on right now that sit within the portfolio of road infrastructure? And then, of course, I'm going to invite you to add to this equation that we're rewriting today. But what are the 2 or 3 major road infrastructure projects you'd like to bring to our attention today?
I would like to thank you for giving me the floor. But before anything, please allow me to express my gratitude to the AfDB authorities for the consideration accorded my country, to me and to the delegation that I lead. I would also like to express my thanks to the Ivorian authorities for the welcome and the conditions that we have been placed in here. For your information, I would like to let you know that we have 20,821 kilometers in regional roads, communal roads, and each segmentation corresponds to the administrative organization of the country. This is the opportunity for us to say thank you once again, express our gratitude to the financial partners of the AfDB who are giving us their support for the national segment of our corridors. With the AfDB, we have put in place an important corridor that allows our country to connect with Nigeria from Enugu to Bamenda, with the building of cross-border roads to facilitate activities related to immigration and trade. We have also built the integration corridor with the state minister who was here just a minute ago to connect with Brazzaville. And with the AfDB, we are building a whole section of road that will link the regional and the northern and western part of our country. We are completing this corridor, and this should be by the end of 2024. So we have a number of projects like this that have led the African Development Bank to mobilize about $24 billion. And that makes the AfDB the first financial partner of our country, mainly for road work. At the present time, we are working on Ngaundere-Gawa, a stretch of road that will help to link up with an important regional country. Through its corridors, Cameroon connects with all the countries around us, and these are countries that may not have access to the ocean. So Ngaundere-Gawa, for which the AfDB is mobilizing, This will lead from Douala N'Djamena to link up with Chad. With the AfDB, we also started to work on the infrastructures, the infrastructure that will be used at the Kribi port for the development of the industrial zone of Kribi. We have to say that the AfDB has invested a lot in order to facilitate access to the ports and the operations of evacuation. I will close by expressing a wish, and that is to receive from the AfDB more financial support for the development of the eastern region. We already have studies that are ready and are only waiting for funding. Each time, these developments lead us to a neighboring country, and this will go from Baturi, Yokadi, Murunduru, and I will also talk about the second project, which is Manfe Afaya, to the border of Nigeria, Cameroon being in the middle of all these countries. It is building this national section of road in order to facilitate the integration of our economies. Thank you.
Very much, and I think we of course we acknowledge the importance of investments because we know that it's critical. One of the things that I want to talk about, and maybe I'll do it with the next speaker because in the interest of time, I do want to make sure we catch up on our program, is what does it take to make regional economic corridors work from a transport perspective? And I keep wanting to bring in the complexity that our scene setter has really asked us to engage with. And so let me then go to Mr. Yao with the next question. Mr. Yao, when we think about the importance of economic corridors and the importance of transport in terms of enabling economic corridors to come to life, can you tell us a little bit about what is required for these partnerships to work? And also, where do you see the opportunity for us to do a better job with technology as we think about the transport infrastructure we need along these corridors? Mr. Yao, please.
Merci bien.
Thank you for the opportunity that you're giving us to discuss on this interesting topic. I would, before all else, like to apologize on behalf of the Minister, Dr. Kofi Amede, who would have loved to be a part of this session, but who, for other reasons, was not able to be with us today and would probably be able to join us as we go along. Ma'am, your question is on the development of corridors between different countries. I must say that today in Côte d'Ivoire, we have an interesting project, which is the famous project having to do with Lagos-Abidjan corridor that goes through 5 capital cities. And the countries in this corridor are Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria. For these different projects to function properly, I believe that along this corridor, there is an authority that is in place, AGOMA, that works to federate and bring together the different synergies so that this corridor sees the light of day. This corridor in its presentation is a highway, but today it's not like the roads don't exist. There are tarred roads that are national roads or international roads at the same time. So these are just exchanges between different countries. They exist already. And during the previous panel, there was a speaker who spoke about control posts that were juxtaposed, and this helps to facilitate discussions between border posts, different border posts, to encourage discussions between customs from one area or the other. Like you notice, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, one is Franco-French speaking, the other is English speaking, but at the level of the corridor, they have juxtaposed control posts that have the same agenda that helps with discussions. Those who preceded me presented different networks, and I cannot not talk about this. And with your permission, I'd like to talk about the efforts made by government to beef up our network to ease with the movement of population. On this issue, since 2012, we have about 3,000 billion that has been invested in road infrastructure, and the African Development Bank is a privileged partner that has accompanied us on different aspects of this program. And since 2012, they have assisted us to the tune of about 1,250 billion that has been invested through AfDB support. The corridor that I mentioned, Abidjan-Lagos corridor, still on this program of connectivity. We are extending the motorway to the north right through to the northern countries, Mali and Burkina, and today we have a section of the motorway, 320 kilometers right through to the city of Bouaké, and very soon we will extend this motorway right through to the borders with Mali and Burkina. And the technologies that we could use to improve, to prove or boost this work for the corridors that go across two countries. We would use the same design for constructing or building roads. Cote d'Ivoire has a specification for making roads that exists since 1977, and today we're trying to update this manual with the support of the French Development Agency on the different projects. Madam, I hope I have answered your question, but if you'd like further clarifications, I'm more than happy to provide more details.
And adequately responded to my questions, and I apologize in advance that we're so tied for time. I've just got a note from our keynote speaker to say, I gave you back 5 minutes. Please give me 2 to make a comment at the end. And we'll see if we can. We're running behind, but I really want to get to the crux of the provocation in this conversation. Mr. Yao, thank you for reminding us that in critical moments, it's the common agenda that matters. You gave us a fantastic example of Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, French-speaking and English-speaking. But when it comes to the movement of goods and people, we speak one language, and that language is Africa. You've also reminded us that technology allows us to make these economic corridors come to life, and I think that's really fantastic. I want to go to Mr. Musa with this next question. Now, Mr. Musa, the African Road Maintenance Funds Association, from what I understand, is made up, has its members who have a mandate to look at the funding of roads in their respective countries. So let me ask you a cheeky question. When they are complaining about the challenges that they confront, what do these challenges sound like? But more importantly, I'm asking you to comment on what are the bottlenecks we've got to loosen to make sure that these organizations are able to do their job of clearing the way for road infrastructure to be successfully funded.
Merci, Madame, pour la parole.
Thank you for giving me the floor. I would like to thank the AfDB for associating the African Road Maintenance Fund to this important discussion. I would also like to thank all those who are here today to listen to us. We have 35 member countries, 12 of these countries in West Africa, 6 from Central Africa, 9 from Southern Africa, and 8 from East Africa. And so in our association, we try to promote good governance, given that the road fund is made up of structures that collect resources. So we promote good governance, and we also promote research in alternate financing to see how we can assist countries. Generally speaking, road funds in Africa deal with current and periodic maintenance of roads, and also deal with road prevention, and all of this is up to the road funds, and they also protect the road heritage. And so amongst the 35 members, there's no harmonization in the way things are run. We have countries that are advanced by way of their operations. We have reforms that were introduced in Cameroon, where 3 windows were created for road maintenance, and also another window for investment that would help with the construction of roads, highways, and also there was another window to deal with indemnization. You know that indemnization is an aspect that impedes the construction of roads sometimes. So sometimes it is easy for road funds to deal with that. Also in Cote d'Ivoire, we have reforms that have enabled road funds to be able to raise funds from banks or financial institutions, and these are aspects that are not common with other road funds. And so at this stage, the association is trying to support the different road funds so that in the end we can have a harmonized road funds in all countries. Our sources of funding are classical sources. We have taxes on oil, petroleum products. We have funds from toll gates, revenue from banks. And so these are some of the classical sources of funding. We are thinking ahead, and we believe that with the support of technical and financial partners such as the AfDB, we can look about the sustainability of roads. It is easy to build roads, but what we forget is that once these roads have been built, everybody goes. The donor has ended their activity and they go. The policymakers have achieved the objectives, and 1 year later there's degradation because we did not think about the sustainability aspect. So we're hoping that with each project that is funded by the technical partners, there would be 2 budgets, one for construction that will fund the project, and then another phase or aspect or component that will deal with maintenance, so that once the project has ended, then the road fund would continue to fund the maintenance of these roads. So we can find a company who once a year or every couple of years would check on these roads and also extend the life of the roads. But road funds also face a lot of challenges, which we have identified in our association. We have institutional challenges. We notice that road funds do not exist in all countries. Yesterday, I was made aware that the road fund in Burundi is non-existent, and this is some of the difficulties that we have. Also, the
I just want to reframe where you're going. One of the things you've said that is so interesting is that most of the road funds rely on traditional funding sources. You've spoken about taxes, toll gates, banks as an example. Are you seeing any interesting or innovative financing that is coming out of any of the roads funds that you think are progressive and are doing things differently that you find encouraging? I think it's important to acknowledge the challenges, but what I'm more interested in is really hearing where are you seeing promising trends of financing that other road funds can learn from?
Yeah, we see like public-private partnership contracts that can also be involved with the maintenance of roads. PPPs must not be limited only to construction of roads. Earlier on, I talked about technical and financial partners like the AfDB, and resources for maintenance for certain roads could be funded by the government or some of our partners. And these are alternative sources which could also be added to the classical sources that I mentioned. And so with this volume of resources, we believe that the government can continue maintaining these roads. And why not the Trans-African corridors? Because the challenge also is at the level of Trans-African corridors, because there needs to be continuity on these corridors. There's a problem of harmonization as far as specifications go, and so if we have adequate financing, we can also maintain these different corridors so that there is some kind of harmonization as far as services go.
Private partnerships in the context of roads funds come into sharp focus, but thank you for bringing the maintenance angle of the conversation so that we're not only focused on the development of road infrastructure, but how do we ensure that we're maintaining that which we've invested and developed. So allow me then to go to Mr. Kakuru last at the end of our panel. Mr. Kakuru, I want to build on the maintenance point that Mr. Musa has raised, but from a different perspective. How do we do a better job of integrating safety provisions as we think about sustainable roads and the maintenance of those roads? Is safety at the core or at the center of how we're thinking about our maintenance budgets and our maintenance projects, and how do we get it to the center if it's not?
Thank you very much for that question. Again, my name is Engineer Henry Gakuru, Director Development, Kenya National Highways Authority. First of all, before I get to the question, I would like to appreciate this opportunity from the Africa Development Bank, and also to say thank you for the support they have had with the Kenyan authority in developing the road network in Kenya. We have had more than 1,250 kilometers already developed under the financing of urban Africa Development Bank, and to the tune of more than 1.6 billion US dollars. Secondly, I want to pass the apologies of the boss, the Director General, Kenha, Engineer Kongo Ndongo. He was not able to come to this forum, but he was very much eager to be here. But because of work, he sent me to represent him. Now, to the question of road safety, I would say that road safety is a key area that requires to be checked, because the accidents that we are experiencing on our road network is so huge to imagine the number of fatalities and deaths that are being realized on the network. So it is it would be a good intention from the time of designs to implementation and even to operation of our roads to consider provision of safety audits at every stage of development. From the KENHA side, what we have done is we are looking at standardizing the manuals for design and construction of our roads. That is including the road marking and signages. And in that development, we will be providing a standardized manual that will relate or will communicate with the other network beyond our country. So one of the considerations is standardization of manuals within the region. Second is that provision for safety audits for all the stages of the road cycle, that is from safety feasibility studies, designs, implementation of construction, and the operation of our roads. Secondly, the road sections that have been constructed, we should always make sure that they are adequately ready for operation. We should be having our roads well marked after construction, and even the road signs properly installed to ensure that the road user, that is the driver and also the non-motorized pedestrians, are well taken care of, and to make sure that the road is communicating to the users. We are also providing or considering provisions of safety facilities, especially for pedestrians. We realize that in most sections where the roads, the main roads, are traversing through urban centers, we are having serious and many accidents, especially involving the pedestrians because of the conflict of pedestrians and the motorized traffic. So there is need there to be very cautious about the provisions, the pedestrian provisions, footbridges, and the like.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Gakuru. So very clear safety audits at every stage of development, standardized manuals, and making sure that the roads are ready for operation. Please give my panelists a big round of applause. Thank you very much.